श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम श्रीशैलाभिजनाम्बुराशिशिनं श्रीकृष्णतातात्मजं श्रीशैलान्वये देवनाथसूर्यप्राप्तागमान्तद्वयं पादाब्जे नरसिंहताते गुरोर्न्यस्तात्मरक्षाभरं विद्वद्वृन्दचकोरचन्दिरमहं रामानुजार्यं श्रये श्रीरङ्गसुधामधुसमास्वादयन्तं श्रीरङ्गमहिषीपदपङ्कजात्मजं सुलभाश्रयं सदा मोदसिद्धमद्भुतं भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयाब्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुं अन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गार्धासनासीनां करुणामम मातरं गुरुरूपपरञ्ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतत् गुरुविज्ञानमन्दिरं मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षाद् रामायणात्मना. With salutations to my Guru and the Guru of all Gurus, we will commence our session today. In the last class, we were in the Sargam known as Kinkar and Nishodhanam. It is the 42nd Sargam, which is basically into the action-oriented scenario. Hanuman starts to destroy. In the previous chapter, Pramadavana Bhanjanam, we have seen how Hanuman brought the entire Ashokavanam to ashes. The next Sargam is about how Hanuman killed the various Rakshasa Ganas of Ravana. And in that process, we have seen in the starting shlokas how the Rakshasis were suddenly woken up by the kalaravam of the birds. And the very first thing they did was to verify with Sita Mata as to who is this creature that we are seeing, which is Hanuman there. And very interestingly, Sita Mata says, Yuyameva abhijanita yoyam yadva karishyati ahireva kyahe padana vijanati na samshayaha. I don't know who this person is. He probably is one among your clan. Go figure it out. I have no connection with this person. And the Rakshasis sensed that something is amiss because they had seen Hanuman talking to Sita Mata, and therefore they doubt that she perhaps knows about it, and they rush to Ravana's palace, confirming him that there is somebody who has entered Ashokavanam. Forget about Lanka, he has gone into the very deep places within Lanka. That itself would have been a great, they call this so-called incident alerts in cyber security. Somebody has hacked not only your clients, but he has gone directly to your server, and there is a bug they have introduced. That is the panic with which they went and informed Ravana. And imagine the kind of fits of fury that Ravana would have got at that point of time. the Kavi says, Rakshasinam vacha Shutva Ravano Rakshaseswaraha Hutagniriva Jajjvala Kopa Samvartite Kshanaha, Sloka 22. His eyes became instantly reddish. Not only that, tasya kruddhasya netrabhyam prapatan astrabindavaha. Deeptabhyam deeptabhyam satchishaha sneha bindavaha. So these um, bindus or tears of blood, as if they came out of Ravana's eyes. So in other words, if you look at the physiology of the human body, we shed tears on many counts, isn't it? Yeah, somebody who has slept very well, early morning you will see that there are tears there. அப்போ போயிட்டு ஐயோ எதுக்குடா அழுதே அப்படின்னாண்டே நான் நிம்மதியாக தூங்கினேன் விட்றா அப்படின்னோம். So they would have enjoyed the sleep and therefore they would have shed tears. We shed tears obviously when we hear something which is sad, that is well known. We shed tears of joy, right? When we hear some happy occasion or news, if we become so emotionally connected with that person, that event, etc., we will definitely shed tears of joy. And this is a rare thing which we probably have not noticed is if somebody is in extreme fits of anger, even then you will get tears from your eyes. Okay. And here it is sneha bindavaha, as the Kavi says. The bindus or the tears have some kind of sneham. Sneha is a word that is, we have already seen this in our previous sessions. இவன் என்னோட ஸ்னேகிதன்பா எப்படி அப்படின்னாக்கா எனக்கு ஹெல்ப்புன்னு கேட்டால் ஓடி போயிடும், அப்படி கிடையாது. ஸ்னேகம் அப்படின்னாக்கா இட் இஸ் எ வேர்ட் தட் இஸ் கனெக்டட் டு ஆயில், எண்ணெய். ஓகே, எண்ணெய்னா தெரியல எல்லாருக்கும். நெய் இஸ் கால்டு எண்ணெய். ஓகே, எள்ளை நெய்யாக பண்ணோன்னா அதுக்கு பேர் எண்ணெய். அந்த எண்ணெயில் இஃப் யூ போர் ஆயில், it will not fall like water with gaps. Okay, it will fall like a tiladhara, avichinna tiladhara ante. And the madri sneha bindavaha. So the tears that Ravana shed at that point of time were kind of continuous, like that of oil falling down from a dispenser. That is where we ended in the last class, isn't it? We'll continue from here onwards. Atmanas sadrishan shuran kinkaran nama rakshasane vyadidesha mahateja nigrahartham hanumatah tesham ashiti sahasram kinkaranam tarasvinam niryayur bhavanat tasmate kutamudgarapanayah. So immediately he summoned, Ravana summoned 80,000 ashiti sahasram kinkaranam. So he had in his army there were different categories of people, and the very first set of people he called are kinkaras. That is the name given to those. Kainkariyam kinkara and the kinkara vera. These kinkaras are rakshasas who were very, very powerful. And Ravana instructed the kinkaras to grab Hanuman, nigrahartham hanumataha. And what are the various types of weapons? Atmanas sadrishan shuran soldaringa, meaning each of these kinkaras had a power equal to the power of Ravana. You can imagine. அவ்வளோ நன்னா ட்ரெயின் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காரு அவர். Okay, that's what a leader normally does, isn't it? Even in your absence, things should continue. And the angle, he has trained 80,000 kinkaras who are Atmanas Sadrishan Shuran. And they are Tarasvis also. They can fly around very swiftly, and they can run very quickly, etc. And they started to, proceed towards Ashokavanam. And they had all kinds of weapons, Kutam, Udgarapaneha, different types of spears, axes, etc. Mahodara, Mahadamshtra, Ghora Rupa, Mahabalaha, Yuddhabi Manasas Sarve, Hanumadgrahanonmukhaha mukhaha te kapim tam samasadya toranastham avasthitam abhipetur mahavegaha patanga iva pavakam. So they are all given different adjectives here. Mahodaraha, many of them were pot-bellied. They had different types of teeth. Gorama irukakuriya dantangal, very big teeth. Adu paathale you will start running away. Ghora Rupaha, Mahabalaha. And all of them have one goal in mind, which is Yuddhabhi Manasaha, Abhimanasaha. Whatever work we do, we have to orient our mind towards that activity. That's the first step. That's called Abhimanasaha. And what is the Abhimanasam for these people? Yuddham. We are ready to now go and fight for our country, our dear Ravana. And Sarve Hanumat Grahanonmukaha. They were all very keen on grabbing Hanuman somehow. And they found that Hanuman was next to the Toranam in the Ashokavanam. And how did they approach Hanuman? அதுக்கு இங்க கவி என்ன சொல்றார்? பதங்காய்வ pavakam, just like fireflies are attracted to fire. In a similar manner, all these kinkaras, they approached Hanuman. Right? So there's a hidden meaning there that all these fireflies are going to die. That's what it means. Okay. ते गदाभिर्विचित्राभिः परिघैः काञ्चनाङ्गदैः आजग्नुर्वानरश्रेष्ठं शरैश्चादित्यसन्निभैः मुद्गरैः पट्टसैः शूलैः प्रासतोमरशक्तिभिः परिवार्य हनुमन्तं सहसा तस्थुरग्रतः. These slokas are basically a description of various weapons they were holding. They had gadai, maces. They had crowbars, okay? In the காலத்துல crowbar லாம் பார்க்க முடியாது. Many of you would have seen, no? It's a very interesting use as a weapon here. Normally it is used for construction. And these crowbars edged with gold and shining arrows resembling the sun. The மாதிரி weaponsலாம் வச்சிருக்கா. They had javelins, hammers, sharp-edged spears. They had tridents, திரிசூலம் கூட இருந்திருக்கு. And they had also barbed missiles. You would have seen all of these as weapons in Amar Chitra Katha, isn't it? Or in Bahubali type of movies. So they are now ready to face Hanuman. Hanuman api tejasvi Shriman Parvata Sannibha Kshita Vavidhyalangulam Nanadacha Mahaswanam Sabhutva Sumahakayo Hanuman Marutatmajaha Dhrishtamasphotayamasa Lankam Shabdena Purayan. So the moment Hanuman sees an army of 80,000 people, okay, Ingada Hanumadi Viram, his valor comes to the fore as well as his Buddhimatam Varishtam. Right? The very first thing he does is to expand himself. Mahakayaha, isn't it? Gulliver and the Lilliput's Madri, he creates himself, he recreates himself into a massive, gigantic figure. And Kshita Vavidhya Langulam. He roared and waved at the ground, Mother Earth below him. He struck it with such a force that it created, waves of sound that nobody could tolerate. Okay. Asphotita Shabdena Mahatacha Anunadina. ஒரு கர்ஜனம் கொடுத்தாரு, டேய் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி Hanuman gave a very big garjanam there. Drishtam aspotayamasa Lankam Shabdena. The entire Lanka reverberated with that loud noise. And he also kind of patted himself very loudly. That is what it means here. Tasya spotita shabdena mahata chanunadina petur vihanga gaganate uccaischedamaghosayate. And the shabdatnala, there were many birds and animals. They all started to fall down from wherever they were. And at that point of time, Hanuman started to make or speak out these words. What are those words? Very interesting set of slokas, which perhaps we should also recite as and when we encounter Kinkaras or Rakshasas. What is that? Jayatyati balo Ramo Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha Raja Jayati Sugrivo Raghavena Bhipalitaha Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Klishtakarmanaha Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam Nihanta Marutatmajaha. இது வந்துட்டு probably these are two important slokas. You can repeat after me. Okay, that we remember this as a Jaya Ghosham. Okay, it emanates with the confidence of Hanuman, and when we recite this, we get into the mold of Hanuman and the mood of Hanuman. Jayatyati balo Ramo
Jayatyati balo
Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha
Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha
Raja Jayati Sugrivo
Raja Jayati Sugrivo
Raghavena Bhipalitaha
Raghavena Dhipatitaha
Dasoham Kosalendrasya
Dasoham Kosalendrasya
Ramasya Klishtakarmanaha
Ramasya Klishtakarmanaha
Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam
Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam
Nihanta Marutatmajaha.
Tamarutajaha.
இது வந்துட்டு imagine that Hanuman just stepped down and then he tapped on the ground as well as himself, and he is telling this with all Goshan there. Jayatyati balo Ramo Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha Raja Jayati Sugrivo Raghavena Bhipalitaha Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Klishta Karmanaha Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam Nihanta Marutatmajaha. Probably he would have mentioned this with such a fierceful voice that it talks about not only his own power, but he is in some sense creating that fear in his enemies. That's the very first thing we have to do. Whether we fight the war or not is secondary. Okay, the very first objective would be to create fear in our enemies the moment they approach us. The second is to have the confidence that I can face these enemies no matter how large that army is. Okay, that is the second thing we should keep in mind. இதெல்லாம் நானே மறந்து போயிடும், நோட் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க. மூணாவது is that the Lord will never leave us. My immediate overlord, which is my boss, immediate boss is Sugriva. Right? He is there. அவர் என்னை கைவிட மாட்டார். கடைசியா அவர் என்னை கை விட்டாலும் என்னை கை விடாத இருக்கக்கூடிய பகவான் என் கூடயே இருக்கார். தட் இஸ் ராமஹ லக்ஷ்மணஸ்ச மகாபலஹ. ஸோ இது எல்லாத்தையும் நம்ம we should keep this all of this in the mind. Right? The very first thing when we encounter a moment of terror, maybe we should by heart these slokas and we should chant them. There is a power in these slokas. Okay, that is something we should not forget. And remember the mood with which Hanuman would have spoken these words. And that is what will give us instantaneous boost of power at that point of time. And I think Hanuman probably is making a promise here that, the war has not yet been fought with Ravana, but Hanuman is claiming victory already. Jayati atibalo Ramaha Lakshmanascha. That is a confidence. That is also a portrayal of, extreme confidence emanating from not ignorance or foolishness, but emanating from extreme wisdom, right? Extreme amount of training in whatever you are very good at. Everything is embedded in all of this. The moment we think of this, these two slokas, we will get all of that. Raja Jayati Sugrivaha Raghavena Abhipalitaha. Sugriva is somebody who will be victorious because he is ruled over by Rama. Very important. Underline all of this. Sugrivan, he is like Indra's representative, isn't it? He has that amsham and therefore an ego aspect which automatically comes. And Indra, whenever his ego overtook him, in Puranas we'll see that he will immediately be vanquished by the demons. And he will run helter-skelter, come to Lord Mahavishnu and pray for him in a kapathanit. So Raghavena Abhipalitaha, very important. And Hanuman is addressing himself as Dasoham Kosalendrasya. I am a Dasa of Lord Ramachandra. And who is he? He is a Aklishta Karmanaha. That is one who is never tired of action, one whose actions are never inducing tiresomeness in us. ரெண்டும் இருக்கு. அதாவது ஒரு வேலை பண்ணோம்னா any work that we undertake, we should do a sankalpam that we will complete that action. That is number one. Second, when you do that action, இங்கேருந்து ஒரு சாமான் எடுத்து கொடுக்கணும்னா you should not go around 20 miles and get that item. The way you do that work should be so easy like buttery that anybody who you instruct that work, போமா அதெல்லாம் பண்ணுவா நீயே பண்ணிக்கோ அப்படின்னு சொல்ல மாட்டா. அந்த ஒர்க்கை let me do it அப்படின்னு ஆரம்பிப்பா. So that is a kind of motivational power that he will have. And I am a dasa of such a Ramachandra. Dasoham Kosalendrasya Hanuman. And அந்த தாசன் ஒரு பக்கம் சொல்லிட்டு he is immediately announcing who he is. Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam Nihanta Marutatmaja. Although I am a dasa of Ramachandra, I am not your dasa. That's what he is addressing all these kinkaras. Shatru Sainyanam Nihanta, I can kill any number of Shatru Sainya, and I am that Hanuman. I am Marutatmaja. Naravana Sahasram me Yuddhe Pratipalam Bhavete Shilabhistu Praharataha Vadapaischa Sahasrashaha Ardayitva Purim Lankam Abhivadya Chamaitilim Samruddharto Gamishyami Mishatam Sarvarakshasam. In the Jaityadi Balaramam, these two set of slokas, you'll see it will keep repeating in the future sargams also. Okay, he keeps reiterating. Hanuman himself kind of reiterates it to himself. இங்க என்ன சொல்றார்? Ravana Sahasrame Idhe Pratipalam. Even 1,000 Ravanas cannot equal to me. They cannot match with my prowess. And as I pound the trees as well as stones that come on my way, and I have come with a mission here, Ardayitva Purim Lankam Abhivadya cha Maithilim. I shall destroy this entire Lanka. That's what he's saying. And I will pay my obeisance or respects to Maithili right under your nose. Samurdhartho Gamishyami Mishatam Sarva. While you are noticing it, okay, the minnal சொல்லுமே அந்த வேகத்தில் நான் வந்துட்டு I will pay my obeisance or respects to Maithili Devi and then leave this place. That is my mission and vision here. Tasya sannada shabdena te bhavan bhayashankitaha dadrushuscha hanumantam sandhya meghamivonnatam swami sandesha nishankaha tataste rakshasah kapim chitraihi praharanair bhimaihi abhipedu sahasrashaha. Immediately, what is the effect that these words and actions of Hanuman had on the kinkaras அப்படிங்கிறது முதல் பாதத்தில் வருது. And the Sannada Shabdena, whatever the Rakshasas heard, it created two things. One is Bhayam, the second is Shankai. Okay, so that's the instantaneous karma phalam that Hanuman noticed. It created a sense of fear as well as it already laid a seed of doubt in them. Oh, this person is probably very much powerful, 1,000 times more powerful than Ravana. அப்படின்ட்டு அந்த இப்போ நம்ம சொல்கிற அந்த கர்ஜனையிலேயே that creates that vibration. Right? Anybody, I guess, I hope I have made some impact on Hiran me here. But imagine the impact that Hanuman would have had on the Kinkaras. The nadis of all the Kinkaras would have started vibrating, and that creates automatically a kind of fear as well as doubt. but immediately they realized that what has our boss done? He has put us in production support and the client is shouting at me. They are going to cancel the project. அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிற on-site opportunity கொடுத்திருக்காரு. அந்த மாதிரி ஆயிடுது. Okay. There is no go but to face the client, right? You have to hear what all they say and you don't know what to do. Whatever you do may actually destroy the system further, but there is no other option now. What have they resigned to their fate now? That saying Swami Sandesha Nishanka, my Swami, that is Ravana, has given us very clear instruction. So let us go ahead with and meet our fate. அப்படின்னு they start to fight here. सतैः परिवृतः शूरैः सर्वतः स महाबलः आससादाय सम्भीमं परिघं तोरणाश्रितं सतं परिघमादाय जघान च निशाचरान् सपन्नगमिवादाय स्फुरन्तं विनतासुतः. Obeying their king's command, and they set aside their fear. Okay, என்னதான் இருந்தாலும் இவெல்லாம் டி நகரில் இருக்கிறா இல்லை சைதாப்பேட்டில் இருக்கிறா இல்லையா? ஸோ தே ஹாவ் தட் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் rowdyism in their minds. So they set aside their fear. Okay, we are Rakshasas. They went back to their master data and updated it. Okay, and we are supposed to fight. So they took on all their dreadful weapons and they started to freely attack Hanuman. And what did Hanuman do? He noticed he is already, Mahakayaha. He went there to a nearby place. He plucked out a weapon which is made of iron there. It's a terrific, think of it as a terrific iron beam. He pulled it out, okay, just like all our heroes, okay. But he took out a real iron beam there and he started to fight with all the kinkaras there. And in what manner? Pannagamivadaya spurantam vinatasutah. So there are many places where we see comparison of Hanuman with Garuda. Okay. So this is for all the Vishnu Bhaktas where they think, ஐயோ ராமாயணத்தில் கருடனே இல்லையே அப்படிங்கிற வாழ்க்கை இது போட்டு குத்தி காமிக்கிறார் வால்மீகி. அடைய அந்த கருடன் தான் இங்கே ஆஞ்சநேயராக வந்திருக்கார் அப்படின்ட்டு. This is for those with the Bhakti Rasam. So Vinatasutaha, just like how Garuda grabs snakes, venomous snakes, and is able to fight with them, many such snakes in one moment. In a similar manner, Hanuman started to fight. Vichacharambare viraha parigrihya cha marutihi sahatva rakshasan viran kinkaran marutatmajaha yuddhakankshi punarviraha toranam samupashitaha tatastasmad bhayan muktaha कतिचित् तत्र राक्षसाः निहतान् किङ्करान् सर्वान् रावणाय न्यवेदयन्. So vichachara ambare viraha parigrihya cha marutihi. So எல்லாரையும் he started to play T20 cricket. Okay, எல்லாமே சிக்ஸர் தான். ஒருத்தர் எடுக்கிறார், அந்த ஐரன் பால்ல போட்டு அடிக்கிறார் எல்லாரையும். He started to kill almost all of them. Sahatva rakshasan viran Kinkaran Marutatmajaha. And just like a true warrior, what did Hanuman do? He went back to the Toranam in anticipation of more Rakshasas to come. And how will that happen? So in those days, there is no update which you can do on Twitter. Okay, there is a building on fire, come to our rescue. No. Hanuman left a few of the Rakshasas so that they will go and inform Ravana that 80,000 only 5 of us are left out now. Tatasasmat bhayan muktaha katichit tatra Rakshasaha. And they went back to the Ravana's palace to inform him what happened here. Sa Rakshasanam nihatam महत्बलं निशम्य राजा परिवृत्तलोचनः समाधिदेशा प्रतिमं पराक्रमे प्रहस्तपुत्रं समरे सुदुर्जयम्. So they went and narrated what exactly happened there in the Ashokavanam. and the mighty demon king Ravana, he heard everything about the killing of all the Kinkaras, and his eyes once again they started to parivirta lochanaha. மொழி இப்படி இப்படி சுருட்டுறார் நம்பியார் மாதிரி. இப்படி பண்ணிட்டானா அப்படின்ட்டு. Then he summons the next person he can think of, which is his son Prahasta. Okay. And that person is a very difficult person to conquer. Sudurjayaha. One cannot win over Prahasta easily. So that is the second kattam of the war that Hanuman is raging. Okay. त्याश्चे श्रीमद् रामायणे वाल्मीकि आदि काव्ये चतुर्विंशतिकायां संहितायां सुंदरकांडे किंकर निषोधनं नाम द्विचत्वारिंशः सर्गः. This is the 42nd sarga. Let us move on to the 43rd sargam, which is called Chaitya Prasada Dahaha. ततः किंकरान् हत्वा हनुमान् ध्यानमास्थितः वनं भग्नं मया चैत्य प्रासादो न विनाशितः तस्मात् प्रासादमप्येवम् इमं विध्वंसयाम्यहम् इति संचिन्त्य मनसा हनुमान् दर्शयन् बलम् चैत्यप्रासादमाप्लुत्य मेरुशृङ्गमिवोन्नतम् आरुरोह हरिश्रेष्ठो हनुमान् मारुतात्मजः. So having killed all the Kinkaras, so Hanuman stood and reflected. Hanuman dhyanamastitaha. For a little moment, he meditated or reflected. What did he say? Now that I have ruined the Ashoka Vanam Bhagnam Maya, Chaitya Prasadona Vinashitaha, but I have not yet destroyed all the palatial buildings in Lanka. I have just destroyed entire Ashokavanam. And these buildings are like Chaityas, Chaityam naka temples nartham. These are the places where all the Rakshasas reside. So then he decided in his mind, Tasmat prasadam api evam imam vidvamsyam. I'm going to, my next project is destruction of all the houses, palaces that I see here in Lanka. And Hanuman gathered his strength once again. He jumped on top of the buildings, one after the other. And the first building he perched on, it looked like the peak of the Meru Shringam Ivonnatam, Aruroha. He went and sat on top of that palatial building. Aruhyagiri Sankasham Prasadam Hariyuthapaha Babhausa Sumahatejaha Pratisurya Ivoditaha Sampradhrishya cha Durdharsham Chaitya Prasadamuttamam Hanuman Prajwalan Lakshmiya Pariyatropamo Bhavate. So the powerful Hanuman, he climbed the tall Aruhya Giri Sankasham Prasadam, tall and palatial building, which is like a mountain actually. And on top of that mountain, Hanuman himself resembled the sun. Pratisurya Ivoditaha, just like a new sun has risen on top of the mountain. Appetpetta or Tejas in Hanuman. And having destroyed the fine palace building, immediately, instantaneously, he destroys that palace building. Sampradhrishyacha Durdharsham Chaitya Prasadam Uttamam. So Hanuman Prajwalan Lakshmiya. So he was blazing with glory. Like Pariyatram Upamo Abhavat. So like one of the mountains known as Pariyatra. So there are 7 Kula mountains apparently. Mahendra, Malaya, Sahya, Shaktiman, Riksha, Vindhya and Pariyatra. So he resembled like Pariyatra. Basically, somebody who is very, very powerful there. Sabhutva Sumahakayaha Prabhavan Marutatmajaha Dhrishtamashpotayamasa Lankam Shabdena Purayan Tasya Spotita Shabdena Mahata Shrotra Ghatina Petur Vihangamas Tatra चैत्रपालाश्च मोहिताः अस्त्रविच्यता विच्यतां रामो लक्ष्मणश्च महाबलः राजा जयति सुग्रीवो राघवेणाभिपालितः दासोऽहं कोसलेन्द्रस्य रामस्याक्लिष्टकर्मणः हनुमान् शत्रुसैन्यानां निहन्ता मारुतात्मजः न रावणसहस्रं मे युद्धे प्रतिबलं भवेत् शिलाभिस्तु प्रहरतः पादपैश्च सहस्रशः. So you can see these three shlokas which are repeating. So this is another important thing, that you have instilled fear in your enemies. You have to continue to instill that fear. And it is like the famous Martin Luther King, isn't it? He keeps repeating a phrase, I have a dream. So it is kind of repeating the same thing again and again. He is confirming it to himself as well as to those who are listening there. So his next target of Chaitya Prasadam is now accomplished. And he once again, Hanuman made a huge sound once again. Aspotayamasa Lankam Shabdena Puvam, மறுபடியும் ஒரு கர்ஜனை பண்ணார். And that garjane filled the entire Lankapuri once again. He mentioned that I am Dasa of Ramachandra, etc., etc. So I am here to win over this entire Lankapuri. Ardayitva Purim Lankam Abhivadya Chamithilim Samudharto Gamishyami Mishatam Sarvarakshasam. I'm so sorry. I think it includes the next sloka. There are 4 slokas which he is repeating. That is, I will destroy. So what is the first slokam? Rama and Lakshmana are great Mahabalas, and Sugriva is, all of them are going to win. And because of Lord Ramachandra, Raghavena Avipalitaha. That is the first line. Second line is, who am I? I am the Dasa of Ramachandra. That means, I forgot to mention, Ramasya, whenever somebody is a slave, a servant, say slave, okay? Dasahana, slave. You are not working for a salary. If you are working for a salary, you are a servant. Okay? Hanuman is a Dasa. You have no expectation. You have completely surrendered to the Raja. அப்போ என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னாக்கா, அந்த ராஜா கிட்ட இருக்கக்கூடிய எல்லா ஒரு skills will also come to the dasa. That is the important thing to notice here. The moment you are completely a slave to somebody, because of the fact that you are always observing, listening to the instruction, the third important thing of absorption will happen. Whether you like it or not, those skill sets will descend on you completely. So when Hanuman says Ramasya Aklishta Karmanaha, there is a dhvanyartham there that I am also capable of Aklishta Karma, meaning I am also capable of taking my own decisions and actions. And I can win over Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam Nihanta. That is the second line. Third line, Ravana Sahasram me Yuddhena Pratibalam Bhavete. I am equal to 1,000 Ravanas. இது சொல்ல சொல்ல எல்லாருக்கும் பயம் கட்டாயம் வரும். And you can actually see me doing it. There is a evidence-based reasoning அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவா. Okay, you are seeing what I am doing. I have, first of all, destroyed Ashokavanam. Now you have seen me destroy Kinkaras. The third is the Chaitya Prasanam. And Ardhaitva Purim Lanka Avivadya cha Maithilim. I am going to return Lanka only after demolishing everything that is available here. But I will leave by paying my obeisance to Maithili, right under your nose. Mishatam Sarvarakshasam. So very important set of 4 slokas which Hanuman keeps repeating. Eva muktva mahabaho chaityastho hariyutapaha nanada bhima nirhrado rakshasam janayan bhayam. Once again, Hanuman generated a loud noise which created a fear or terror in the Rakshasas there. Tena shabdena mahata chaityapala shatam yayuhu grihitva vividhanastran prasan khadgan parashvadhanem. So the Rakshasas who were there in Chaitya, that particular palace. They 100 of them started to for a yuddham with Hanuman there. They grabbed whatever weapons were around them, including swords, etc., and they started to fight. Visrajanto Mahakaya Marutim Paryavarayanye Te Gadabhir Parighai Kanchanangadaihi Ajagnurvanarasreshtam Baneschaditya Sannibhaihi Avartaiva Gangayaha Toyasya Vipulo Mahan. So they started to fight with Hanuman with all kinds of weapons there. They started to hurl their maces or gada, their swords. Some of them were all decorated with gold. And they had sharp arrows also that resembled the rays of the sun. So these are the kind of weapons that they had. So it's very important that if you are the chief of army or navy or whatever, right? The very first thing you have to do is to keep all your weapons in good shape. Whether you fight a war or not is secondary. So therefore, even during peace time, army எங்கடா சண்டை நடக்கிறது எல்லாம் சும்மா பணம் காசு போயிட்டு இருக்கிறது நம்ம யோசிக்கக்கூடாது. All that money is actually going into maintaining the weapons in proper shape, so that in the event of a war, all of them will be put to good use. And you can see that happening here. And the way that these Rakshasas, they surrounded Hanuman, the Upamanam Kavi is giving here is Avartaiva Gangayaha Toyasya Vipulo Mahan. They surrounded Hanuman, and this looked like a very big whirlpool of water in the river Ganga. Okay, so that is how that particular scene is described here. Dwarikavachipama, sloka number 15. Okay. So all of this is, these sargas are about Hanuman showing his buddhi as well as his karya kushalatai and his viryam. Okay.
आभुजान्तश्रीचक्रकुण्डलधरं कुटिलकुन्तलं शिशुं मन्दस्मितरुचिकराधरपुटं पूर्णिमैक्ष्यान्वितं मुखं शरस्योर्ध्वगतिं मुद्रया विदिशन् सव्येन प्रणवं धनुम् मध्ये सुस्थितमुग्धश्यामलमहं श्रीरामं भजे मोहनम् गुरुचरणाम्बुजा निर्भरभक्तः गुरुचरणाम्बुजा निर्भरभक्तः संसारमुक्तः गुरुचरणाम्बुजा कृष्णा कृष्णा द्राक्षसी निज हृदयस्थं देवं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते
कायेन वाचा मनसा इन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्या आत्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सर्वं श्रीरामचन्द्रार्पणमस्तु. Have a great day and a week ahead. Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Thank you.